Hey everyone, good afternoon again. I'm back. I have nothing to say. I just turned on the camera and said, let's roll. Let's see what we come up with today. I was making my silly little TikToks today. Maybe I'll post a couple of them. I don't know why I share those on here, but sometimes they're kind of funny. So it's like, fuck it. Why not? It is hot out today. It's supposed to be like 101. So I'm out while it's kind of early still because once that heat hits, I'm back in the house. No, thank you. I don't do heat real well, especially with my scleroderma. How many of you have heard of scleroderma? Probably not many. It's a rare disease. Now, Bob Saget, his sister, she had scleroderma. They actually had a movie called For Hope. I think that was the name of it. And it was about her and her journey with scleroderma. And she ended up dying from it. So when I was married, one day I was on a photo shoot for a magazine, right? And there was a spot on my breast, but I didn't really think a lot of it. It looked like a hickey or a bruise. So I was like, oh, maybe my husband did it or I bumped into something. Didn't think anything of it. Then time went by and it didn't go away, but I had forgotten about it because I don't stare at myself like that. I'm not so into myself that I'm like noticing all this. I very seldom pay attention, unfortunately. So months go by and the spot's still there. I get it looked at. I'm going to skip a whole lot. Turns out I had a rare illness called scleroderma. 1 in every 500,000 people in the US get it. And there are different forms of it. So I'm lucky because morphia affects mostly the skin. It's the outer. So it leaves outside marks. It leaves like a real thin skin that looks real pale and thin and crinkly, and it has like a glow about it. And I hate it because where it shows physically on me is the typical places, which are your trunk, either your breasts, your front end, or your back. I have dark patches that you could barely see, but they're there on my back. And then on my chest, you can see what I have. It looks like, it sucks. It looks like a hickey. It always looks like I have a hickey on my breast. And people ask me about it all the time, and it's so annoying and embarrassing because part of the mark was from the scleroderma, and then the other part, dang, something just went in my face. Sorry. The other part is from the stitches because they had to do a biopsy on it to diagnose what it was. And when they did the biopsy, they did like 3 or 4 stitches and the marks never went away. So I have stitch marks and what looks like a hickey on my big bazongas. You see this poking out? Let me push that back. See, it comes in handy having the boobs sometimes because it's great for storage. I got my pipe in here, my torch. I think I got a regular lighter in here. I got some weed up in here. I got all kinds of stuff. Girl gotta stay prepared. So yeah. So I have scleroderma. One of the things with scleroderma is heat. We are not supposed to be in the heat. Like, we don't do well with extreme temperature changes. So to go from hot to cold, not good, especially at a quick rate. That's very, very uncomfortable for people with scleroderma. A lot of times with scleroderma, what happens is your hands, they kind of shrivel up and they go together and you can't move them. It looks kind of like someone who has arthritis where their hands just get all tight, except the difference is you can see the skin actually physically getting tight and it pulls. And with a lot of people, it also happens on their face. So their skin is like really tight and it looks like they've had a dang facelift when it's not, it's their scleroderma. Um, so I have scleroderma. I'm lucky that the form I have isn't terminal, but when I was first diagnosed with it, it was a bit too much for my husband, who was already doing his own thing, and he wasn't strong enough to stand by my side when the doctors told me, hey, some people die from this, it's terminal with some people, we need to do further work. So that was some shit, because I went through a year worth of treatment not knowing if my illness was terminal, because the illness was so rare they couldn't determine what form I had at first because it was new. I went through all kinds of experimental treatments. One of the treatments was they would give me steroid injections. I would get like 14 injections in my chest. I'd get like another 7, 8, or 9 in my back. And then they'd give me a big booster in my butt. And I started losing a lot of my hair from it, and I had some really bad side effects. So after about a year, I was like, you know what? I don't want to do treatment anymore. And I was on a regimen by this time, and the doctors liked it because I was a rare study, so they would send me to all the best hospitals and doctors because my illness was rare, but I was doing okay from it. So they liked to study me, so of course they wanted me to continue on the medicine. But then one day I asked the doctors, tell me if I'm wrong, but the medicine that I'm taking, the steroids and stuff, all it's doing is masking the symptoms so that I don't have the outward appearance. But I technically still have the illness, and it's not cured, and there is no cure for it, and I'm going to have it forever. It's going to be chronic, if not terminal. And they said, correct. And I'm like, well, in that case, I'd like to stop treatment. And they were like, okay, we understand. So I stopped all my treatments. And luckily what ended up happening is once I stopped the treatments, I started feeling better, because a lot of the problems I was having was actually side effects from the medication, not from the illness itself. So I wanted to go more natural, so I stopped. And wouldn't you know it, I went into remission. I still kept my doctor's appointments. I got seen once a month for like 10 years. Every month I was checked by 2 different doctors to make sure that there was no progression and, just check my progress. Sorry, I'm sweating. It is hot out here. So they would check my progress. So even though I had stopped the medications, I still went to my appointments, was being responsible, of course, and, making sure that I monitored what was going on with my health. So the doctors were a bit bummed that I decided to stop the treatment because they liked using me as a guinea pig because it was a rare illness. But they understood and respected the fact that I was saying I was done. Not that I was saying I was done living life or, oh, woe is me because of this illness. I was like, no, I'd rather get rid of it naturally because the side effects from the medication are making me feel worse than the illness itself. So I used to do a lot of awareness for scleroderma. And, it's hot out here. I am sweating. I'm going to have to go inside so I don't overheat. But I used to belong to the Scleroderma Foundation. And I used to do a little bit of fundraising, and I miss it. Maybe I'll go back to it now that my health has improved a bit. But I don't know how I went from the topic of, boy, it's warm outside, to, hi, everyone, I have a rare illness called scleroderma. But that's often how it goes in life, right? See, and one of the things for me that's good and bad is that I don't have any physical. I do have physical, but I could, put it under my clothes and nobody sees it. Nobody sees the internal stuff that's going on inside of me. They only see the external factor. So I look very healthy. People don't realize, no, people with autoimmune disorders could look wonderful on the outside, but they're wilting away and rotting on the inside. Kind of like someone who has a bad soul. You could look great, and then you get to know them and find out that they're really mean as shit. So, you know, you never know what you're getting. Don't judge from the outside. You never ever know what a person is going through. Most people wouldn't look at me and think that I had battled illness that could kill me. They don't think that. They look at me and say, wow, she looks happy and joyous and jolly. Ho hum, she has a great disposition. Not all the time. Not all the time. I tried my best to keep myself upbeat in my soul, so I share that with you guys because it is truthful, that, you know, the emotions I express to you. But I have moments where I really struggle, you know, because scleroderma can affect your internal organs. For some people, they die of it because it hardens their heart, their lungs, their liver, their kidney, all their organs, they turn hard. Back in the day, they used to call it rock disease. Now it's just scleroderma. So look it up, check it out, learn about this disorder just so that we could spread awareness, you know, because it's good for people to be less judgmental. And the more they realize that not all illnesses manifest on the outside, maybe the more they'll realize that they need to have a little bit more compassion upon their fellow humans. Yeah. So today's message, take care of your health, have compassion on yourself, and have compassion on your fellow humans. Yeah. All right. Whew. It is hot. It's funny that I sweat like here, like I sweat a little mustache. Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that, you guys. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll probably talk with you later. Peace. Welcome to the apocalypse. Yeah. Peace.